The Godfather of Harlem is back for season two, diving deeper into the life of crime boss Bumpy Johnson. But the story behind how this got made is also worth knowing. It actually took almost 20 years of perseverance to get a green light. And the man behind it all is New York native Markuann Smith, who made a promise to his godmother, who happened to be Bumpy's granddaughter.
The Italians have had me on the run for 3 solid months. But this is a game of chess. I got my pieces in position, and I'm putting their greed in check. It's time to take Harlem back.
And Markuann joins me now. What's up, my friend?
Hey, Jackie, what is up with you?
Come on. This is crazy. I'm so excited for you and this success. And I want to talk about not just season two, but I also want to talk about how this came to be, like your story of making this happen, because man, this took you, what, 18, almost 20 years, 18 years to get it made?
Yeah, 18 years. It started off in 2000. I used to go up to Lenox Terrace in Harlem, and my godmother is Margaret Johnson, and she used to tell me these magical stories of Harlem back in the 60s. And she also used to tell me about her grandfather, who raised her like she was his daughter, and his name was Ellsworth Raymond Johnson, and he was from Charleston, South Carolina, and on the streets he was known as Bumpy Johnson. And I made her a promise that I would get her story told.
How old were you when she began telling you these stories? And when did you realize that Bumpy was Bumpy?
I knew who Bumpy Johnson was. I knew he was the only African American that was able to sit down with the mob, with the likes of Frank Costello, Lucky Luciano, Vito Genovese, Bugsy Siegel, Meyer Lansky. And these guys were the real deal. They're the ones that started the Five Families from Pleasant Avenue. And Bumpy wasn't an urban legend. He was a real person. He came from Charleston, South Carolina, but he didn't just come to New York to become a gangster. He actually came to become a lawyer, just like Malcolm X did. And when he tried to get into to City College, the bursar said, "We don't give financial aid to color folks." And after that, Bumpy said, "You know what? I'm gonna make you regret those words." And he took to what he knew, which was a life of crime.
Yeah, I was going to say, we have seen Bumpy Johnson portrayed on the screen before, but I feel like this series gives us a much more intimate look at him, through the relationships that he had, right? We get more of those backstories. What kind of story or what did your godmother want people to know about Bumpy Johnson?
Well, she wanted people to know that her grandfather, who she called her father, was more than just a gangster. He read Shakespeare. He read Nietzsche. He was a philosopher. He was for the people, but he took what was given to him, which wasn't a silver spoon, and he tried to adjust with the times, what was happening. Part of the story, we're not trying to glorify him. He was a drug dealer. He was a pimp, but he was also a scholar at a time when a Black man wasn't able to really move around and be able to provide for his family. He took what he knew and tried to give it back to the community. He was known as the Robin Hood of Harlem. And the story just shows him as a tortured man coming home from Alcatraz in 1963 and how he really wanted to change from the life of the past to now. But it wasn't easy. It wasn't given to him.
So I read somewhere, correct me if I'm wrong, that you got turned down 3 times by studio executives, and that one person told you that it would be more likely for you to be struck by lightning twice before you could get this made. What was it like when you got that yes?
To be frank with you, Jackie, I as an actor, I got 1,000 no's before I got one yes. So I was used to no's. But see, with me, I don't have a plan B. I never had a plan B. I tell people you can either chase your pension or chase your passion. That's up to you. So yeah, we did get turned down by 3 networks. There was one person by the name of Michael Wright who came from Steven Spielberg's company, Amblin Entertainment. And he said, "I love this project. I don't want to be coy about this. I don't care how much it costs. We got to get it done." And they bought it in the room. And they took a real risk on us, where we became Epic's flagship show. And I can humbly and happily say that we did so well on our premiere night. We did 35% more than our season finale on season 1.
Let's talk about season 2. For those who have not gotten a taste of it, I know a little bit is out there. What can you tell us about season 2 in its totality? What will we see from Bumpy Johnson and
Well,
this time in Harlem?
I tell Michael, right, season 2 is like hell up in Harlem, man. There's a lot of things happening, like from the French Connection, when the dope was coming from Marseille to the ports in Toronto, Montreal, and New York City, to Malcolm's his relationship leaving the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, to Bumpy's having a hit out on him from the Five Families. It's just a lot of intensity. It's a roller coaster ride. And I look at it like we shot 10 motion pictures.
Well, I want to let everybody know that Godfather of Harlem airs Sundays on Epix at 9 p.m. Markuann, I'm so excited for you. Thank you for taking the time to do an interview. I know the
Thank you for
schedule is
having me.